brain, finally we made it happen.
Yay.
You're here with us. Hey.
Yay, I'm
so
so excited.
we want to, I want to get to know you so much, and I want to find out, where did you find your passion for filmmaking?
I think my passion for filmmaking I think as a kid, as a queer Asian-American Filipino kid, I wasn't allowed necessarily to express my emotions. I grew up very Catholic, very traditionally, Catholic, and in Asian culture and Filipino culture, we have to carry ourselves in a certain way. We have to present ourselves in a certain way when we're in public. But when I started watching television and movies, and I saw what actors were doing, I didn't necessarily know it was a job, but I just knew that it was like, oh, like how can I be more like that? Where like I can express my emotions. I could be angry, I could be messy, I could be, all the things, and vulnerable particularly. So when I started to realize that these actors were playing roles, that's when I immediately was drawn to the performance aspect of it, because I wanted to use my emotions to not just express myself, but to tell stories. So I think it came from a passion. It came from a need to express myself when I wasn't allowed to, and then it turned into a creative passion, because then I realized, oh, I can use my vulnerability, my emotions, my experience, my own anger, my own frustrations, my own rage, my femininity, and turn it into a story.
Was there any point where you were like, this is like a cathartic thing for me, like I'm gonna do this and this is how I can channel that emotion? Was there any specific?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think it was particularly Raise Your Tongue, because it was a role that I wrote that I was terrified of doing and playing, and we almost, and Carolina knows, I almost was like, should we cast someone else to play this? And everyone was like, no, you're playing her. Because she was so angry and rageful, and vulnerable, and someone who I still aspire to be, that character, because she has the ability to vocalize how she feels, or basically call out the microaggression or the inappropriateness that's happening in the setting that she's in. And so for me, that was a very cathartic experience, because I got to let that anger and that rage out of my body and kind of like live in that character. And it kind of, in a way, it kind of freed me from it. And I was like, I can move on to doing other things now. And so yeah, that role was a cathartic experience.
Well, the role was magnificent, and it earned you a nomination for an Emmy.
Yeah.
It's just, speaking of that role, you found a way to always tell stories for people in the community, and in a very unconventional way, and in a beautiful way. Like, how do you pick and choose these characters? Are they all related to you, or is it on experiences that you've lived or people that you know? What kind of research do you do for them?
Yeah, I think a lot of it, they all do kind of come from me, but it's also how I see the world and how I see queer people and trans people. I think that we're constantly being invited to validate our existence, especially when the stories aren't told by us. And so for me, in my world, I don't need to validate my existence.
Sister, first of all, I just want to say I'm so happy that you're here. We've known each other for years, and I love you. I look up to you. You're an inspiration to so many of us in the community.
Stop, you're gonna make me cry.
I am gonna cry. But I also want to round that up to one of your latest projects, Tiffany Blues, which we just had the pleasure of watching. I watched it a couple days, and it's so beautiful because it's literally you. We see you, and I just see my friend just being this beautiful goddess person that's just navigating the world, and in a way that's just so effortless. And I feel like Tiffany Blues really touches on that. It's that effortless of just existing and not having to be validated by anyone or anything.
Yeah.
But it's also a love story.
Yes. Yes.
with Emmett Preciado, which we love.
Oh my God.
Talent.
Isn't he amazing?
And a hottie too.
Such a hottie, such a cutie. We had the most incredible chemistry. I loved working with him.
Can you tell us a little more about Tiffany Blues before we start melting away in our tears?
Oh my God. Sorry, I was not expecting to get this
know.
emotional.
I was so nervous just because this has been a long time coming. For us.
Yeah, this has been a long time coming. Yeah, Tiffany Blues, you know, I wrote it in one weekend. One of my best friends, my sister, Rachel Lako, has a YouTube channel called Empower House, and she wants to make more original content. She said that if I wrote something for Empower House, she would help me produce it. So I wrote it in one weekend, and I think in December, pretty much like after the election. And it was just this thing that I don't even really know how it came about. I just, again, like for me, like if I sit down and intentionally allow my truth to be the author, then what I end up writing on the page is my experience. It's like something that like, oh, what have I experienced that I haven't seen? Or like, what stories do I want to see that I haven't seen? And Tiffany Blues is one of those things where it's like, we all have our own way of taking care of ourselves. We all have our own morning rituals, so to speak, you know, the way we eat breakfast, the way we brush our teeth, you know, it's all very ritualistic. And so, you know, with HRT, we have, you know, it's become part of our lives. And for me, it's not, I've never really thought of it as like a medical need. I've always just felt like it's this ritual thing that's just a part of my process, part of how I take care of myself. And I've never really seen it on television or on a film done in that way.
I love that. It's like self-care. It's like
self-care.
part of your skin routine. And you're
Yes,
like, let me take
exactly.
that stretch pill too.
Yeah, exactly. And so I wanted to kind of frame it from that point of view. And Tiffany Blues is basically like a celebration of trans femme rituals. And, you know, and so many people related to it and resonated with it. And it's something that I'm very proud of because it's the older I get and the more I'm in this industry, I feel like more and more of my truth continues to come out. And I think that's something that like I'm embracing more and more of because I think there's a hesitancy to be so out and truthful and open because of the discourse and the rhetoric that's happening in the world right now. So, you know, there's a fear of like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be so visible, or maybe I should go back to living stealth or whatever. But, you know, but I think I'm just at a point in my life where I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. I just want to keep being myself. And I think my stories are starting to reflect that.